Howdy folks, welcome back to Black Sheep Meadow. I'm Brent.
And I'm Amber.
And today we got a few things going on.
It's a busy day.
Yeah, it's a busy day.
It's a busy day.
Amber's going to do a little bit of maintenance on her bee boxes because you are just a few short days away from getting your bees here.
Yep, I'm excited. The girls are coming, so I've got to do some work on the boxes to make sure that they're ready. I'll go into that when I bring my bees home, something that I've already found.
So in the meantime, we're coming into late spring here. Temperatures are starting to warm up. We've been very fortunate this year. We've had some really good rain. We got rain projected over the next, I think, 14 days as well.
And we haven't had too many of the hot days yet, but it's definitely coming.
They're creeping up on us.
So
I
today's
think
a warm
we're
one.
like a 91, 92 today.
Yeah, it's definitely getting warm. We're getting into summertime here, but we've got a lot of things today. You're gonna harvest.
I'm gonna harvest some dewberries, and this is actually our second volley of dewberries. And if y'all are not familiar with what a dewberry is, just kind of think of like a blackberry.
It's like a southern blackberry.
Southern blackberry. They're wild. They grow wild all over our property.
I feel like they're the same thing. We just call them dewberries in the south, and they call them blackberries in the northeast.
If y'all are new to the channel, to get y'all up to date, for the year 2023, me and Amber are attempting to grow or produce 80% of our own food. And we're counting these dewberries and actually some wild Mustang grapes with this. We're going to harvest too for, I think your stepdad has a green grape pie.
Green grape pie.
And
that'll be the first year for that. We're going to try if we can harvest the grapes at the right time, because that is all what that's about.
Yep. So we will, I'll touch base on that here in a minute. But in the meantime, we're going to go over some things with the dewberries. Yep. Some of the tools or equipment of the trade. First off, a pail. And then a stick. We had a friend of ours, Greg, that
made this for me.
I think where did it come from? An old
I think it was a table leg,
or
and then he put a knob and a handle and he made it like a walking stick, but I use it as a snake poker.
Yeah.
So you poke and then you stick your hand in there.
Yeah. So I'll go over this. Amber's going to get on her bee box and maintenance, finish a little tidy up on it, and
it's just
we're going to do some harvesting.
And we're taking y'all along.
Hang in.
Put it in here.
So you want to tell them what you got going on here?
So basically, these boxes are just wooden boxes and they're pressed together, and I really don't like them. I started putting them together later part of last year. I'll go into this more when we do the actual bee video, but I need to secure them together better than what the instructions said. So I'm pre-drilling some holes, and I'm actually going to put some screws in here to kind of hold all this together. They're not staying together even without bees in them and 40 pounds of honey. So that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to prep these so that I have some ready for when the girls get here. So that's kind of what I'm doing. I'm just trying to secure them together. Oh, look, I got a wasp.
All right, so you can see here behind me, we have a area that is just overgrown with wild dewberry vines. I wanted to get y'all in pretty close to show y'all what we're actually looking for here. So I took samples, and as you can see, this little green guy here on the end, this is what the dewberry vine starts off with. As the berry begins to mature, we'll end up with a red one like this. This is not ready for harvest yet. And then once it's ripe and ready for harvest, we will actually harvest and pick this blackish, purplish, deep purple dewberry. So this is what we're looking for. Now, I have found while harvesting dewberries, typically the most ripe dewberries are actually under the leaves. So that leaves us with our poking stick, and we're going to come in. If we see a dewberry on a plant like this one in here, we're going to poke around because we have an abundance of copperheads in Central Texas. Our particular area, we don't have to worry too much about rattlesnakes, but if there was one, they would typically rattle and make noise, we'd know. But the copperheads, they're silent and very poisonous. So let's get to harvesting.
So we're out here in the dewberry patches. One quick tip that I will let you know, we're trying to do this earlier in the year so that the bugs aren't as bad, but chiggers are really bad in our part of the world. So one tip to prevent them is to sulfur dust your shoes, because they will go at your ankles, your knees, that type thing. So you're gonna traipse around in here. If you did a little bit of sulfur dust that you can get at any farm and ranch store, and just put a little bit on there. I usually treat mine once a year, and it's enough to keep them away, but you sure do remember when you don't.
Yeah. They leave whelps for weeks.
They leave whelps for a long time, and they itch like nobody's business. So that's what we're doing.
All right, so we get about 3 weeks every year to harvest dewberries, and it's progressive, I guess, or ascending every week. The ones that are not ripe this week will be ready ripe next week, but we have to get on them pretty quick for 2 reasons. One, the deer that are in our area love these things just as much as we do, but 2, that dog right there will come out here and eat them just as fast as we can pick them. So we have to stay proactive. And you know, every week if we spend an hour or so picking, we usually come back with just a couple pounds. So gotta stay after it. All right, so we got our dewberries picked. We actually, I got probably like a couple handfuls of some wild plums still that I didn't think there was any of those left. So
we're looking for green grapes.
Yeah.
So these are what's the correct word for them?
I think they're Mustang grapes.
I call them Mustang grapes.
They're a wild grape.
But we're looking for green grapes, and if you cut one open, you don't want any seeds yet.
Well, these have seeds, they're just not pitted. The pit is still soft. And like as you can see here, because what you don't want
is hard seeds.
Is hard seed.
It's probably gonna be bitter.
Yep, that's exactly what we want still. So we're gonna harvest
we need about 4 cups to do it.
About 4 cups of this. We got plenty of grapes here that we're gonna let mature, and I guess once they mature, we will
make some jelly
harvest
out of
that
them.
and make some jelly out of those. So,
but the green grape pie is something that my stepdad has been after for years, and it's a real picky time to get them. You can't let them get too ripe, because then the seeds will be so hard that you'll never cook them down in your pie. They'll just be hard, crunchy seeds in your pie, and that's not what you want.
That's not what you want. So we're gonna get these harvested up.
Here's a whole cluster.
Maybe we'll get a pie video.
Maybe.
In the future. And you said about 4 cups worth, right?
About 4 cups. Here, give me your bucket. And 4 cups isn't going to take us very long, because this little plant is pretty filled.
This particular grapevine is, I know it shares a lot of the water or the moisture off of our garden. And it also it gets a lot of fertilization off the soil amendments that we add to the garden as well. And
I like it because it's growing on the fence, and I can actually harvest grapes. Most of the grapes around here grow up so tall, I can't reach them. So this one makes it easy for me to harvest. Here's another handful.
All right, we're gonna get 4 cups and we'll get back with you. All right, so we did pretty good today. We got quite a few dewberries picked. There's still going to be plenty more for the next week and a half or so.
Yep.
If I can get to them before the dog and the deer is the key. So,
gotta keep the dog and the deer out of them.
But I actually got a few more wild plums today, which I was really surprised. I thought I'd actually picked all those so far this year.
So those wild plums they're not hanging on there like you would think of an apple or even pears or anything like that, or oranges. They're very like easy to just knock off. So we've had a couple days of bad weather. We had a front come in last weekend with some hail, and we were pretty sure that they were all just knocked off.
But they're still there.
But they're still there, so that was good. A fairly
decent sized bucket full of green grapes that are the pits in them are not mature. They're not hard yet. So
I should be able to make a couple pies, and we'll see how that comes out. It'll be my he's been after me about it for a while.
And then once these grapes, we still got another, I'm going to say 3 to 4 weeks before they fully mature. We'll harvest some then, and I guess you're going to make some grape jelly.
I'll make some grape jelly out of it.
So, folks, this is all part of becoming self-sufficient, you know, producing 80% of all of our own food. We got to get this weight up. And the other good news is these dewberries, maybe not so much the plums, but at least the dewberries, they freeze and store quite well that way, don't they?
They store fairly well in the freezer for making something like pie or jelly or jam. Not necessarily for eating fresh, but definitely for pies or jellies, jams, sauces, stuff like that.
So
my dandelion honey, or syrup, I'm calling it, it came out really well. So, it looks really pretty.
And then I don't know if y'all can see in the background there, maybe not quite.
What are you looking for?
Looking for the strawberries.
Oh, the strawberries.
They're coming right along just as well. We'll get some strawberry jelly off that too. So.
Strawberries and the green beans are, is that green? Yeah, green beans, bush beans.
So guys, in the meantime, if y'all like what we're doing, if y'all like what we're up to, leave us a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, share our content. We'll see y'all next week.
See you next week.